Nuking Mars has been a viral topic after a controversial tweet that the Tesla and SpaceX owner Elon Musk put out. Musk tweeted that we should consider using nuclear weapons to terraform Mars, which sparked a viral outpouring of support and some strong objections. It's an idea Musk has floated and mentioned several times over the recent years, and ta-da, it now has its own t-shirt. Welcome to Cosmos Observer, where nothing goes unobserved in the universe. Elon Musk has been the greatest ambassador for nuking Mars. He's quite vocal about the cause. This man has made a lot of impossible feats possible for humans. So you would think, why not give the man a chance to try? Well, the truth is, people have thought about it. Although it wasn't in any published study, it's safe to assume it isn't as easy as it sounds. So today, we're going to jump into the topic and talk about the changes that would occur if we nuke our neighboring planet Mars to see if in fact we even should or shouldn't. Mars, like everyone is familiar with, is a much talked about planet because it's the only planet in our solar system that to some extent resembles Earth. Don't get me wrong, Earth and Mars have vast differences, but when you take into consideration the rest of the solar system, they're like half-siblings. And it's these similarities that make Mars the best candidate for terraforming. Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun in our solar system. It's fondly called the Red Planet because of its distinct copper-red color. In the last decade, we have learned more about our red neighbor than ever before. We have found traces of water which could possibly be evidence of microbial life forms on Mars. Mars has an atmosphere with less than 1% of Earth's atmospheric volume. The composition of the atmosphere is also significantly different. Mars is primarily carbon dioxide based, whereas Earth is rich in nitrogen and oxygen. Its pressure is approximately 1/25 that of the Earth's atmosphere at an altitude of 130 kilometers. The Martian atmosphere has a pressure of 6.518 millibars or 0.095 psi at ground level, compared to 14.7 psi at sea level on Earth. The gravity on Mars' surface is much lower than on Earth, 62% lower to be exact. Something that weighs 10 kilograms on Earth would weigh only 3.8 kilograms on Mars because it's 0.376 of the Earth standard or 0.376 grams. The size of Earth in diameter is double the diameter of Mars and has a much denser atmosphere compared to that of Mars. Terraforming a planet takes a lot of resources, and having such a similar planet nearby is all the more motivation to choose Mars for the efforts. Now, coming back to nuking Mars to terraform. Some say it's a brilliant idea, while some scientists have shown clear disapproval for it. First, we'll talk about why we should consider nuking Mars. Nuclear weapons could be used to vaporize frozen particles in its poles. These frozen materials, upon releasing them into the atmosphere, would cause the atmosphere to be denser. The greenhouse effect would kick in once the atmosphere becomes thick enough. Energy and heat from the sun are absorbed by the planet and reflect back the infrared radiation. This would continue to help heat up the planet, releasing more carbon dioxide and triggering a chain reaction until, ideally, the surface pressure of Mars would rise sufficiently to allow liquid water to exist, make it much more habitable for oxygen-producing plants. Making Mars habitable is a goal of some very bright people, primarily because the Earth will become uninhabitable one day, either due to environmental disaster, an expanding sun, or any number of other disaster scenarios. So brainstorming ideas and beginning efforts to ultimately make Mars habitable is our best bet at continuing our life as a species in the long term. Before we go on to talk about why we shouldn't nuke our neighbor, the Red Planet, like and share this video so that we will continue making more videos on similar topics, and click the red subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified every time we upload a video. Now back to the video. Nuking Mars. Mars is a sandy, rocky planet with a large amount of ice caps on its poles, so the number of nuclear devices required to melt those ice caps is enormous. According to estimates, such a move would necessitate the use of over 10,000 of the largest nuclear warheads. Given that the world has only about 13,000 of these bombs, this could inadvertently bring the possibility of mutual destruction within Earth to an end. However, the money required to accomplish this feat would be huge, and even Musk may have a difficult time getting his hands on them, let alone transporting them to Mars. Another reason for being against this method of terraforming is radiation and radiation poisoning. Mars has no magnetic field or the ozone layer. This means the surface is exposed to the sun's lethal radiation. Despite Mars' cold temperature, the UV rays and cosmic radiation levels there are far higher than on Earth due to the lack of an ozone layer and other forms of protection Earth has generously given us. Even as it is right now, Mars could necessitate us to use some pretty potent sunscreen. If you then nuke the already radiation-filled planet, the levels of radiation within the planet would skyrocket, leading to disastrous results. Radioactive fallout would effectively poison the soil, water, and air, preventing any form of life from existing. So if you want to live somewhere, don't first blow it up with nuclear weapons. It could only possibly delay the formation of life forms naturally occurring on the planet. Now, by detonating a large number of nuclear weapons, dust and debris would be kicked up into the atmosphere as a result of the explosion, which could prevent warm sun rays from entering the already cold planet's atmosphere. The risks triggering a nuclear winter, Mars' high wind speed will keep it there for years, blocking out the sun. This will cause the temperature on the surface to plummet even further. This will make the efforts fruitless as it'll ultimately reabsorb the released greenhouse gases as all of the water freezes, potentially leaving Mars colder than when we started. I think we can agree that increasing Mars radiation is a bad idea. Even if this terraforming is successful, Mars' magnetic field is not as effective. Mars would not be habitable for long. This is because of its low gravity and lack of a magnetic sphere. The radiation from the sun depletes the atmosphere at an alarming rate. This is why Mars has a thin atmosphere and very little water. The water vapor was stripped away by the solar wind, depleting the atmosphere. It was all lost to space billions of years ago. So, even if this bizarre scheme worked, it isn't a long-term solution. And to make matters worse for people who support this theory, a 2018 study published by the prestigious journal Nature Astronomy concluded that Mars doesn't currently contain enough carbon dioxide to cause significant warming. Even if all of it were released into the atmosphere, only a 10% degree difference would be made. As a result, we conclude that terraforming Mars with current technology is not feasible, was their conclusion. So you would wonder why Elon is so focused on the idea. Well, the truth is, Musk has since appeared to backtrack slightly, stating that he wasn't suggesting that nukes are the only way to go, but rather that we should be open to exploring a variety of options. So no, he doesn't think this is the only way to terraform the planet. He was just putting a wild idea to the table to create more talking points for the discussion and to help keep an open mind. And as mentioned before, Musk isn't serious about the idea. But if Musk is seriously considering nuking Mars, he'll have to overcome considerable opposition. For starters, many scientists and exploration advocates are concerned and even skeptical if we even should try to do terraforming. They argue that, do we have the right to fundamentally alter another world to suit our life, especially one that may already have some uniquely adapted life forms that call Mars its home? We have a lot more questions than answers, so we will have to wait and see where we're going as a species in the future. To see more videos on topics like these, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to get a notification every time we upload more videos like these.